It is the change theme. Tailoring and guidance for the change theme. If the project is within a program or portfolio, there may be a requirement that the project uses their defined policies and processes, meaning there may be change-related guidelines from the program or portfolio. For example, somebody from the program board may be involved in reviewing a project change. In a commercial environment, the project may be required to adopt change control procedures and processes defined in the contract. Issue management and change control may be treated as separate processes or procedures, provided the relationship between them is defined. PRINCE2 has a very unique way of handling issues because it categorizes issues into three types: request for change or specification, and the regular issues which are termed as problem or concern in PRINCE2. In general, in project management, issues and change mean totally different things, but PRINCE2 combines them into a single theme. Therefore, PRINCE2 does allow that issue management and change control may be treated separately, as long as the connection between them is clarified, because the way PRINCE2 works on these aspects. One more thing to be noted in these change procedures, particularly when the Moscow technique is used for prioritizing changes, meaning the must have, should have, could have, and won't have, the criteria for defining must have and others should be based on the business impact of the change. So for example, when requirements are being prioritized, it is just straightforward that we may prioritize a certain requirement as must have based on maybe its importance to a certain stakeholder. Similarly, in this change theme, a certain change may be having a maybe must have change because it has a higher business impact. And not because it is a larger change or a smaller change, that it has been given a higher or lower priority. Some more tailoring and guidance for the change theme. Ensure that the change control approach is appropriate to project size, scale, and complexity. It is important to ensure that the change control approach to a project provides support for effective decision making on the project and does not create undue burden or bureaucracy. In general, smaller, simpler projects will need correspondingly simpler issue management and change control arrangements. Complex projects may have more elaborate procedures for change control, meaning a change may have to go through an individual first before it goes to the change authority, and in some cases it may go through several steering committees and top management before the change gets approved. All projects need an appropriate approach to creating, maintaining, and controlling product baselines for both management and specialist products. As you may recollect, PRINCE2 has two types of products: the management products and the specialist products. Management products are the ones which are used for project management. For example, a project plan, a stage plan, or a PID. Specialist products are the outputs from a project. For example, a beach resort, an IT system, or a hospital, or a tunnel, or an educational package. And in all projects, there needs to be some methodology for controlling the reference versions or the baselines which are being used for tracking project progress and for monitoring project progress and for controlling it. Therefore, for simpler projects, document management procedures will generally suffice. For more complex projects, they will usually need some form of formal configuration management or version controlling, that is, asset management or product management process, often supported by specific tools. In fact, change management itself is sometimes known as asset management in certain organizations. And when it comes to certain products, there may be product management procedures by which version controlling may be done for physical as well as electronic products. It is important that the approach to managing issues and change works with and supports the project's use and delivery approach. Meaning, is it agile or waterfall? There may be different approaches for them, because agile is about frequent changes. Creating a change request may be undue burden in an agile project. On the other hand, there may be an emergency change process wherein once a scope is or a feature is prioritized for a certain short duration sprint, say a list of 10 features are prioritized for a 1-week delivery plan, then nothing should change within that 1 week, because it may be too difficult to modify a design once certain features have been approved for inclusion in the design. Therefore, such changes may be handled as emergency changes with authority from much higher levels. For example, and also another example, a change control approach that defines that there will be a monthly review of proposed changes is unlikely to be effectively support an agile delivery approach, where delivery may be happening every week or 2 weeks. For the practitioner exam, it is particularly important under the change theme to understand the concept of taking corrective actions. The project manager will either take the necessary corrective action, which might include updating affected products, work packages, plans, and registers, or creating an exception plan for approval by the project board. For example, let's say there is an issue in a project by which a certain timeline has to be extended, and which means it is impacting the stage plan or the project plan. That's why once the corrective action is taken, then the reference baseline products have to be updated. In both cases, the project manager will update the issue register with the decision and inform all interested parties. Implementation of the corrective action must ensure that baseline products are updated in a controlled manner and with appropriate authorizations. If a baseline product is to be changed, a new version should be created to accommodate the change, and the baseline version is kept unchanged. Old baseline versions should be archived when possible, not discarded. After an issue has been closed, the project manager should update the issue register. In general, when a change is reviewed and approved, the change will be implemented after the baseline product is updated. For example, a project plan may be updated or a stage plan may be updated before the change is really implemented. The change budget. While the project budget itself may include a change budget, meaning additional changes to scope in the project may be accommodated by the available project budget in case there is some money left in the available budget. But in many cases, keeping an additional change budget will be necessary. Therefore, this change budget is a sum of money that the customer and supplier agree will be used to fund the cost of request for change, and possibly also their analysis costs. And this is the interesting thing about PRINCE2. The change budget is not just for the cost of implementing the change, but also the cost of analyzing the change. Meaning, if a few people are having a discussion on whether the change should be approved, and first of all analyzing the impact of the change and working out alternative solutions to implement the change, then, and if this meeting runs for about 3 hours, the cost of this meeting and the effort of the people in that meeting should also be part of the change budget. Therefore, it may be necessary to estimate the number of changes in a project before the change budget may be finalized. Where a change budget is given to a change authority, the project board may wish to put a limit on the cost of any single change and the amount spent on change in any one stage without reference to the project board. Generally, as we know, the project board for convenience has delegated change management to the change authority, meaning most of the changes should be approved by the change authority themselves instead of sending every change request to the project board. However, there may be some changes which will be escalated to the project board. Maybe those are higher priority changes or higher value changes or more important changes or changes from maybe certain VIP stakeholders. In such a situation, as part of the delegating rules, the project board may put a limit on what is the maximum cost of a change which a change authority can approve, and also how much changes may be approved by the change authority within a single stage without coming to the project board. How much, meaning the amount of money related to change that may be approved by the change authority without coming to the project board in a single stage. When the change budget is used, the change control budget is documented in the relevant plan. If there is no change budget, then the plan will just show the overall project budget, which may accommodate changes if it is possible via some cost savings in the budget.